Many interesting sets that we come across in computer science are infinite in nature. So we started discussing infinite sets, and we saw a couple of definitions using which one can show how a set is infinite in nature. The interesting part of infinite sets is that it can be counted. So under this context, we will discuss countable and uncountable sets. We may not be able to count and tell this is a precise number, but we can actually list and talk about the first element, second element. Precisely, one can come up with an ordering, and that's the interesting part of countable sets. So infinite sets are classified into countable infinite sets and uncountable infinite sets. Let's define the notion countability. So when do you say a set is countable? A set A is countable if there exists an enumeration. If there exists an enumeration of A. What do you mean by enumeration? Enumeration is precisely listing the elements of A in some order, some specific order. Equivalently, which means you can talk about first element of A, second element of A, third element of A, fourth element, and so on. So equivalently, a set A is countable. So if there exists a bijection between the set A and the natural number set. So the first element of A corresponds to the first natural number, second element of A corresponds to second natural number, and so on, which means you see one-to-one correspondence between N and A. Therefore, the set is countable. So one can list, fundamental thing, one can list the natural numbers in specific order. First element, second element, third element, and so on. Now we give a bijection to A, and therefore we conclude the set is countable. And all finite sets are countable, no doubt. All finite sets are countable because there exists an enumeration of A, and this is with respect to infinite sets. So all finite sets are countable, and so which means when we say a set is countable, it is either countably finite or countably infinite. When it is countably infinite, you see that there exists an enumeration, and you also have bijection to N. When it is countably finite, there exists an enumeration, first element, second element, so on up to this, and in this case there is a bijection, but bijection is to, there exists a bijection from A to a specific finite set 1 to K, where K is the cardinality of A. So when you say a set is countable, it could be countably finite or it could be countably infinite. when it is countably finite, there exists an enumeration, and equivalently you also have a bijection from A to 1 to the set 1 to k. When it is countably infinite, there exists an enumeration. Also, you see a bijection to n. And with this, one can see that infinite sets can be counted. Meaning, I may not be able to give you a precise number, but one can list in some specific order. And now with this, we will show the interesting sets such as integers, rational numbers. They are all countably infinite. So when we say countable, if it is a finite set, it means countably finite. If it is an infinite set, it is countably infinite. So although this definition says A is countable if there exists a bijection between A and n, so this implicitly assumes A is infinite, but one can talk about countability with respect to both finite sets and infinite sets. So just for clarity purpose, I have separated both and appropriate definitions are given. So look at this problem. How do we show that the set of integers is countably infinite? So to show that it is countably infinite, we just have to establish a bijection between establish bijection between n and I. That is equivalent to saying there exists an enumeration of the set I. So listing in some specific order is equivalent to establishing bijection. Okay, so here is a way of establishing bijection. See, intuitively if you see, and you see that I consists of positive natural numbers and negative natural numbers. But implicitly if you see it, it looks like I is something like 2 times n. So intuition will tell you that the cardinality of I is bigger than n. But the logic says different. Let's see that. That's very interesting. So what I'll do is I will list, say, the natural numbers. Instead of writing 1, 2, 3 and so on, let me write it as 1, 3, 5 odd numbers on one side, even numbers on another side. Okay. So start listing odd natural numbers on this side, even natural numbers on this side. And this is my n, and this is I. What I'll do, you have over here 0, and you have -1, then -2, -3, -4, all that. Then on this side you have 1, 2, 3 and all that. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll map say 2 to 0, 4 to 1, 6 to 2, like that I'll start doing it. Okay. So the even numbers over here is mapped to this part, that is non-negative integers. The odd numbers, they map to negative integers. Now you see that each element has got a unique mapping here, and no two elements are mapped to a single element on the other side. Similarly, for every element you see a corresponding pre-image that shows that there is a bijection between n and I. So some textbooks, they also assume 0 is part of natural numbers. So they start, they don't differentiate natural numbers and whole numbers. They start from 0. And in particular, the textbook by Stannett and McLister. So if that's the case, then what you can do, on this side you have 0, 1 and 0, 1, 3, 5 and so on. You have 2, 4, 6 and so on. This side you have 0, 1, 2, 3 and -1, -2 and so on. So if that's the case, 0 is mapped to 0, 2 is mapped to this and so on. So doesn't matter whether it starts from 0 or 1, and you can always establish a bijection between I and this. Okay, so this shows that I is countable. The other interesting part is that, so you establish a bijection between two sets. So this one is bijection. What does that mean? If and only if cardinality of A equals cardinality of B. Correct? For every element in A, you see a corresponding element in B. For every element in B, you see a corresponding element A. So no two elements from this is mapped to this. Similarly, no two elements from here mapped to this. That also tells you the following. So A bijection B, this symbol is bijection. So if and only if, and you see that A to B, this one is 1 to 1 symbol. So A to B, there exists, A to B is 1 to 1 and B to A is 1 to 1. Correct? So cardinality of A equals cardinality of B if and only if A to B is 1 to 1, which means you see that there are more elements on B side, and you see that on the other side B is less than or equal to this. When B to A is 1 to 1, you see that this is happening. Now A to B is 1 to 1 and B to A is 1 to 1. That is equivalent to saying A and B are having same cardinality. So what is this telling us? This is telling us that since we have a bijection from n to I, the cardinality of natural numbers is same as cardinality of this. Intuitively we think I is more, something like 2 times this, but logic says no, they both are having same cardinality. That is the interesting part. The notion infiniteness is kind of brings this feature. So intuitively it looks like I is 2 times n, but answer is no. Logic says there is a bijection between n and I, and you see them that these two are having same cardinality. That's the beauty of infinite sets. On the face of it, it appears like one infinite set is bigger than the other, but when you actually look at the countability, enumeration, bijection and so on, you see that they are having same cardinality. For example, n and I. Next we shall see how to show that the set Q plus the set of positive rational numbers is countably infinite. So please note any rational number is of the form p by q, and q is not 0. Interesting part is p is a natural number, q is also a natural number. So p can be 0. So let's assume we work with n that starts from 0, so that we will be consistent throughout our discussion. Now you can see that any rational number, say something like 1 by 2, you can see it as, it can be represented as 1 comma 2. So in general, p by q can be written as p comma q. So equivalently, this comes from a natural number, this comes from natural number. So in some sense, so listing all possible rational numbers, so all possible p by q is equivalent to listing all possible p comma q. Correct? And what is this? This one is an element in n cross n. Correct? 1 comma 2 is an element in n cross n. So basically, any rational number, if you see, that's an element in the cross product n cross n. This is also denoted as n square. So now if we show that n cross n is countably infinite, and we know that every element in n square is corresponding to some rational number, and there is a one-to-one correspondence between p by q or q plus 2 n square. Okay. So what we will do is the following. So let me list p here. P can be 0, 1, can be 2, 3, 4 and so on. How is this listing possible? Because we know p is a natural number. Natural numbers can be enumerated like this. Then q, I am writing it like this, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Then what I do, this one is 0 comma 1, p by q. This one is 1 comma 1, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 1, 4 comma 1 and so on. This one is 0 comma 2 and 1 comma 2, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 2 and so on. This one 0 comma 3, 1 comma 3, 2 comma 3 and so on. 0 comma 4, 1 comma 4, 2 comma 4 and so on. Fine. Now what we will do, now this space is precisely n cross n. So this one is precisely n cross n. Every element of n cross n is appearing here. Now we will show that this one can be enumerated. Enumerated meaning I can say first element, second element, third element and so on. So what I will do, I am going to give you a map from n cross n to this, which means you have a bijection from n cross n to n that shows that n cross n is countably infinite. So here is an enumeration. I mean, bijection is equivalent to saying enumeration. This will be mapped to first natural number, and after that I will move this side. This will be mapped to my second natural number. Then I come down. This will be mapped to my third natural number. then I come down. This will be mapped to my 4th natural number, then go up, 5th natural number, go up, 6th natural number, take right, 7th natural number, come down, 8th natural number, 9 and 10, then you go down and go up. So like that you trace. So this way you see that you can map this to first natural number, which is 0, second natural number, which is 1, and third natural number, which is 2, and then 3, and this is 4, this is 5, 6, and so on. So this way you see that every element of n cross n over here is mapped to n, and that shows that n cross n is countably infinite. Please note, supposing I start listing elements from one direction, say one particular row, after that I change the direction. That's not possible. Reason, this row is infinite. So if you start moving in one direction, then you will never stop counting or stop listing, so you cannot come down and list other elements. So it's an infinite set, but the way we list, one has to follow a clever strategy. And if you do this snake tail arrangement, you can see that you can go like this, and you see that the entire n cross n can be listed. Now there exists an enumeration. Whatever we described now is an enumeration that shows that there exists a bijection between n cross n to n, and therefore n cross n is countably infinite. And not just that, cardinality of n is same as cardinality of n cross n. Okay, that's the interesting result. And the other thing is, when you list, right, some of them, for example, 0, 1, when you look at rational number, it is 0. 0, 2 is also 0. 0, 3 is also 0. And that's fine. So which means what we get is enumeration with respect to q plus I am talking about. It is enumeration with repetition. Same number is repeated multiple times, but that's not an issue. And from a set which has got repetitions, I can map it to another set without repetitions. So what I'm saying, so enumeration with repetitions, for example, you have 0, 1, then 0, 0, then 1, then 2, 3, like that you have a set. This can be mapped to a set. So 1 is mapped to this, and this 0 and 0 you map it to 0 itself. 1 also you map it to 1. Then you see that 2 is mapped to 2, you see that 3 is mapped to 3. So this way you see that you can kind of move from enumeration with repetition to enumeration without repetition. Subsequently you see that it corresponds to natural number set, so they are all having same cardinality. Okay, and so this shows that q plus is countably infinite. On the same line, one can show that q minus is also countably infinite following this scheme.